Hey everyone, it's Matt here.
All right. How's it going, everyone? This is our friend Will, and we're back at it again. We got you another episode for,
Tech Kingpins.
that's right, Matthew. Say it with your chest. You know what I'm saying?
So when starting to build a project, choosing the right tech stack is very important because it can help prevent you from running up unnecessary maintenance costs. And it will also help you optimize the development costs of the project, as well as influence the availability of being able to recruit new members to your team. So today what we're going to talk about is what should you consider when you're choosing a tech stack?
First of all, you may be wondering what is considered as a tech stack. Well, a tech stack is a set of tools, language, and frameworks that's being used to develop some of the common problems that exist in an industry or in the market. For example, a very classic example is LAMP stack, which stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. LAMP stack is commonly used to develop some of the content management system. One example is WordPress. It's actually built on top of a LAMP stack.
So now that we know what a tech stack is, let's jump into some of the important things that you should consider when trying to choose your tech stack. The first thing that you should consider is understanding your user. Who's going to be using your product?
That's right. If you're in the public health sector, where compliance and security is a big factor, I would really do some research before I go with something that is hot and new and, built from open source community. Instead, maybe go into something that's more enterprise, where it's been proven to be secure and there's no known vulnerabilities associated with it. Whereas if you're building, say, a real-time chat app, UI and design practice need to be factored into the consideration, and hence some of the newer frameworks might be a better choice. And let's say if you're building a blog, well, then WordPress is a no-brainer for it because it's so mature and so be ready to use, right? But if you want to build a scalable solution that integrates some of the blog functionality and have a lot of additional features built on top of it, then I would really consider using some of the newer technical stack, such as MinStack or MERNStack.
The second thing you want to consider is you need to understand your team. You need to understand what your team is comfortable with and what their competence skills are.
That's right. You want to invest time and effort into building the product. You don't want to invest time and effort and money into learning a new technology. Almost every technical stack has its own pitfalls and traps. If your team is not familiar with another technical stack, I would really think twice before you jump into it. So what the bottom line is, what is your team already familiar with? What are some of your technical leadership familiar with? That's the key point that you need to factor in when you're considering which technical stack you're choosing.
The third thing you want to do is you want to understand the problem. You need to know what technologies are commonly used to solve the problems you're facing.
That's right. Some of the technical stacks are more commonly used, therefore they have a stronger community support. If you run into obstacles and challenges, you can always try to find similar problems that have occurred in Stack Overflow or GitHub or some Google articles. You can almost always find solutions to solving some of the problems you're facing related to data science when it comes down to Python. Another example is there's an extensive amount of resources online regards to PHP because it has existed for a long time in terms of web development. So all these things need to be factored in. Are you developing a groundbreaking new technology that has not been, addressed in the past with some of the other technical stack? If so, then choosing that particular technology may be a good idea. Golang is incredible when it comes down to scalability. So if you're building a product that is anticipated to have a large volume of users, then Golang may actually be a good choice. Those are some of the examples of understanding the problem that you're trying to solve when it comes down to selecting a technical stack.
Another thing to consider is the availability of talent. You want to make sure that whatever languages or tools you use, that you can find developers who use them if you want to grow your team.
And this kind of varies based on where you're located. Certain parts of the world, certain technology stacks are more popular. Sure, with the rise of remote development culture, there are more developers you can recruit on other parts of the world. But just located on the same time zone and being able to sometimes collaborate with each other face to face and hash out some of the problems can be really helpful, especially for a startup. So selecting the technical stack that is easier to recruit should also be factored in when considering and choosing which technical stack you want to use.
And the fifth and final thing you want to consider is cloud support. Being cloud native will give you a big leg up.
Being able to adapt to cloud computing can rapidly accelerate the speed of your development and also help you once you launch your product. You can rely on a lot of the support from different cloud providers, whether it's AWS, GCP, Azure, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Bluemix. They each have their pros and cons, and they each have their own unique offering that can benefit you when it comes down to what technical stack you want to choose. For example, AWS Lambda supports a certain version of Python and also Node.js. So if you want to build a serverless application, it may be important for you to keep in mind what are the languages that different cloud providers can support. And this is just one example. Another example would be if you are really big into containerization, you want to use Docker, then it's probably a good idea to think about whether or not you want to go full cloud native or you want to also rely on a container orchestration tool such as Kubernetes. Then you may want to consider which cloud provider has the best Kubernetes services.
So there you have it. Are you a technical founder? If so, what issues have you run into when trying to choose your technical stack? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to react to the video and subscribe to see more content.
Yeah, what he said. And stay safe and see you next time.